The first P has already been finished. So it was products, and it's right now pricing. Okay. So before talking about the price itself, this is very important indeed. It's the only P for your revenue. The rest costs you a lot, but for pricing, no cost attached to pricing in general, but it gives you revenue. So it's interesting and it's important by the definition of pricing itself. Okay, so before talking about the price itself, anything that you like to talk about, anything happens throughout this weekend so far?
Lion Air.
Lion Air, Lion Air, and very new plane actually, very new plane, and it's sad news. It's sad news of Lion Air, not the first time, but for the second time. And Leicester City and King Power, right? And Lion Air first. So once we talk about the industry of the airline industry, this what you need to keep in mind. And as I have been with Thai AirAsia, we do understand that so we can actually make profits for many years. And if something wrong happened with the plane, just like this, once or twice in terms of business, too. It happened with Malaysia Airlines before. And you have done a good job in terms of branding all the time throughout these many years, and then once, twice, do. That's really it. In terms of business, but in terms of human beings, it's sad. It is indeed, right? But it's risky. So the airline business itself is risky in many ways. So the first thing first, it's risky in terms of the accidents, just like this. It's risky by the statistic itself because not many airlines in the world got profits. When I was in the US, one professor who has been a real expert in the airline business came to the class and gave a talk for 3 hours. The first thing that he mentioned in our management class, he's real expert in aviation. He said, first thing first, before moving on, please don't do business in the airline field. That's the first thing first. I remember exactly that he mentioned it because, and then he showed the list of airlines in the world that got to have profits, and then not many airlines at all. So, and the recommendation is to go for something else. He said, the recommendation is to go for something else. It's not easy, and then he moved on talking about the airline business in many aspects. Very interesting, but actually it's risky by the statistics itself. And the one reason why people love to be in the airline business is, he said, it looks sexy. And you look sexy once you happen to be the executive in the airline business. And that happens. Right. So that's airlines, and you can see what happened with Lion Air. And Lion Air in Thailand is Thai Lion Air. The policy is very interesting. So with this kind of policy, it's totally different from Thai AirAsia. For Thai AirAsia, we believe in all the P's: product, price, place, promotion, people, process, and physical evidence. So actually for the service itself, we talked about 7 P's, not 4 P's. But for Lion Air, they mentioned exactly that no need for promotion in terms of advertising, PR. No, not for them. If it is about reducing price, it's fine. But not for advertising, not for PR, not for direct marketing, event marketing matters, no. That's not for Lion Air, and it is very clear. If you happen to be tourism authority of Thailand and would like to ask for some sponsorship from Lion Air, the answer is no. Because they would love to keep the cost very, very low. So it's the real thing for low cost airline, that's what they said. Right? So that's the philosophy of Lion Air. So that's in terms of Thai Lion Air. So people can have this kind of mindset that it's fine. You know, the growth of Lion Air happens to be quite high. It's right now number 2 in the low-cost carrier market. Number 1 is Thai AirAsia. Number 2 Lion Air, not No Air. So you see, it happens. So just to let you know that what happened with the Thai Lion Air, and you mentioned what happened with Lion Air in Indonesia. It's the airline from Indonesia. Leicester City and Kun Vichai. So 2 sad news this week. So what happened? And how about you, your opinion about it? King Power and Leicester City and Kun Vichai. Any angle they'd like to talk about? People talk about it throughout the world, not just in Thailand, but throughout the world now.
I'm very interested in the inheritance of the business for the King Power because he now the candidate of the CEO to be the son of him.
The son of him, yes.
Like how can I say, in this country, in Thailand, still like listed company owners are CEO.
Right.
And they are founder and strong power, but how they can inherit their business to the next generation. It's very interesting for me.
And he could do it actually. Very interesting. The next COP is clear right now. It's clear that the youngest son of Kun Vichai will be the next CEO. Kun Ayawat. Kun Ayawat will be the next CEO. It's not actually the oldest son. It's the youngest son of Kun Vichai. Kun Ayawat has been with Kun Vichai just like a shadow for many years now. 60% of the stock belongs to Kun Ayawat anyway. And then 10% for Kun Vichai's wife, 10% for the oldest son, and 2 daughters, 10 and 10. And so Kun Ayawat himself. And Kun Vichai said it's a selection process. It's not the fact that who is older and who is younger, but he looked at the 4 kids, and they all agreed that Kun Ayawat should be the one who will be the leader of the family. So they all appointed him many years ago to be the leader of the family in the next generation. So it's clear. It's going. So I got to be on the TV show, one TV show, TNN 24, and they asked, and I said, I myself personally know Kun Ayawat, and I know exactly that he is going to be fine in terms of business, because he's actually a little Kun Vichai. Anyway, it's going to be fine, and we learn from the way Kun Vichai actually transfer all the things from one generation to the next generation very smoothly in this case as well. And Kun Ayawat was actually the one who happened to be behind the scene for the champion for Leicester City many years ago. He was, I remember he was 26 back then. So he was very brave to fire many people. Right? So if you have to have a senior, then you talk about relationship and many things, and then Ayawat came into the place, and then he said, fire someone to make it better. Right? It happens. So it's going to be fine in terms of transition. I think, but it's sad. It is sad. So we might not be able to talk about the business that much. People talk about the part of being a monopoly in the market, and something in the gray area. And I have to say, we don't really know about it that much actually. We can feel. But the court said, the court found nothing. And that's happened just a month ago. So we cannot say anything that much about the part of business. But in terms of being a person and in terms of transitional period, it seems to be fine. And we can learn from that part. Right? And sometimes I learn from not the cases, but from the profiles of a person, just like this. And we can actually learn from the profiles of a person. Okay? And we learn a lot from that part. If it is a case, the Harvard case is to be in this kind of pattern, but actually something deep down inside very interesting. Vichai himself was very good in terms of business, and he was a worker in a gas station before, and he actually turned everything upside down, and he is right now number 5, the 5th richest guy in the country. Okay. So in one generation, it's not from some other generation. It's his generation and he himself. So we can learn about what he has done so far. Right. So that's what happened with Kun Vichai. Very good at relationship. He himself could not even speak English well. Right? He could be good friends with British royal family. Interesting. Very interesting. That's Kun Vichai and Leicester City and King Power. Anything else from your side? So we talked about the airline business, and then we talked about Kun Vichai and his King Power. What else? Anything else around you throughout this week? Besides good weather. The weather is very good. It will be just like this about 2 or 3 days a year. And you see what happened next door, right?
What are they doing? What is this for?
I don't know, something crazy, I think.
Very good.
Very interesting, very interesting. It's the class of consumer behavior, and there are some reasons behind this kind of thing. So the Ajahn would like people to actually understand some issues deeply. And he mentions Halloween, and sometimes it's Halloween, and sometimes it's something else, many things. The faith, the belief, right? So it's consumer behavior, and he would like to point out that sometimes you spend too much time doing something that you like and you love, and that spend some time with your emotion, not actually function of it, and it happens in the real market as well. Right? But it's interesting, and it's costly. You see, it's costly. Okay. But once in lifetime experience in that class, Ajahn is very good. The Ajahn there is very, very good, very, very good. He is my ex-professor as well. So he taught me, and we love his class. His class is the only class for undergrad degree. Actually, the maximum number of students in one class should be about 70. And he got 400 students out there waiting to be seated. Very popular guy. Ajahn Miller, just to let you know. So, if there's nothing else, let's move on to the next P of our next P. It's pricing. as I mentioned, pricing is the only key that will give you revenue in general. For the P product, you need to have some money to produce it. For P place, right now, you need to spend a lot of money to be on the shelf in many companies, especially 7-Eleven, Tesco, Lotus. If you would like to be there, you pay. How much does it cost? $500,000 for one row. So we actually talk about one row. If you would like to have your product on the shelf, 2 rows, then $1 million. 3 rows, then $1.5 million. It will be there for 3 months, and then your product should be ranked number 1 to number 3 among the same category, the products in the same category. If not, you'll be deleted. And if you like to re-enter again, pay again. You need to make a case. How come you can re-enter? How can you make it better? Because you got deleted last time. It's going to be very difficult. So it's very interesting to learn from 7-Eleven that the first time you would like to enter 7-Eleven, that's the easiest time to get entered. And if you failed, it's going to be very tough to re-enter. So it's not entering 7-Eleven, it's how to survive in 7-Eleven. So that's P place. We're going to talk about P place later, right? And P promotion, costs, right? Advertising, PR, public relations, direct marketing, personal selling, many other things. So once it comes to P promotion, costs. So P price itself is good in the sense that it's the P that gives you revenue in general. So that's price. So what does it mean by price? What does it mean by price? So let's talk about Thai AirAsia. We mentioned airline business, then it's AirAsia there. So how about the air ticket fare? Low or high? Low. Is that right? I don't know. And you don't know. We don't really know. Sometimes it's pricey, you see. Even Lion Air itself, I remember once I happened to be at Don Mueang Airport. I would like to go to Chiang Mai using Thai Smile. So I could not find Thai Smile counters because Thai Smile is at Suvarnabhumi, not Don Mueang. So I just realized I did some mistake, and that's about 8 p.m. in the evening. So the last flight. So I could not go to Suvarnabhumi, of course. I needed to buy a new ticket from some other airlines. And then I found out only one flight left. That's Lion Air. I went to the Lion Air counter, and then Lion Air told me that one ticket left. I happened to be very lucky to get the last ticket. So what's the cost of the last ticket of Lion Air at that time? From Bangkok to Chiang Mai. I needed to go and teach there. Yeah, 3,800. One-way ticket from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, 3,800. I said, this can actually buy me the ticket to Hong Kong, not Chiang Mai. And the seller said, we'd like to go to Hong Kong. No, Chiang Mai. So I paid 3,800 anyway. You see, is that cheap? No, the airfare can be high sometimes. So what's the system there? So we said it's a low-cost airlines, and I mentioned once in the meeting at AirAsia that we should be a low-cost airline. How come sometimes the price of the ticket can be very high? And the executive said, Ajahn, this is actually a low-cost airlines. We are not a low-price airline. It's different. All right. You're right. It's a low-cost airline, not low-price airline. Yeah. So how about the price there besides the air ticket? How about the baggage fee? the baggage fee. If you go there and you need to pay for the baggage fee at the counter, it's pricey, very pricey, and it's good for their business. If you like to carry something with you, then it is fine. But if you like to have your luggage loaded, then it's different, and it can be pricey. If you would like to buy some hot seats, so special seats, right? Front row, the first 5 rows, right? And the exit rows, then it's costs some money, right? And if you happen to be on board and then you would like to buy something to eat, then it can be pricey, right? And green tea, a bottle of green tea costs you, I cannot remember, 60 or 80 bahts, right? Now here is 20 bahts. And if you happen to be thirsty, how come? You cannot actually jump from the airplane, but you need to buy it right there. So it's 60 to 80 bahts anyway. So it's not that cheap, right? So what's the system of pricing here? If you look at it in terms of pricing system, you see it's not actually low price all the time. There should be some system for pricing, right? So let's talk about the pricing theory and pricing system and pricing strategies tonight, right? So we changed our lens from looking at marketing in general to looking at it in terms of this pricing. And you see the system of pricing and interesting systems of pricing all around, right? So pricing is something that you need to exchange to get the goods or services. That's it, right? And the most important slide, as usual, we're going to pinpoint which one is the most important slide, and this one is the most important slide for this chapter. This is what we call pricing theory. So we're going to talk about 2 parts in general: pricing theory and pricing strategy. Pricing theory and pricing strategy. And this one is pricing theory. Let's talk about the theory. Have you mentioned about the theory last night? Not yet, right? We haven't mentioned about the theory last time yet. So this tells you exactly how can people set the price and what are the factors for setting up the price. What are the factors for setting up the price? It's messy in your slide, but it's actually easy if you look at it right here, like this. So pricing theory is just like this. You cannot go below or lower than the price floor, and you cannot go higher than the price ceiling. So you got a price ceiling and price floor over here. Price ceiling and price floor. And there are 2 types of factors affecting price: internal factors and external factors. Internal factor and external factors. There are 3 types of internal factors and 3 types of external factors. The first thing first, before talking about the real theory. So if you think about setting up the price, what are the factors for setting up the price?
Competitor's price.
So competitors' price. Cost. Sorry. Demand in the market. Yes. So you are building a theory actually. Profit. The profit that you like to get. Yeah, the profit you like to get. What else? Thank you. Please. The willingness to pay. The thing is, So we got the view from the customer side and the willingness to pay from the customer viewpoint as well. So we got the cost, the viewpoint from inside, and the willingness to pay, the viewpoint from outside. Right? What else? All the things you have mentioned are in here. That's a good part about theory. And the things that you might actually think of might be in here. So it helps. Once you got this kind of thing in place, you know exactly the factors affecting price. You cannot think about all of them by yourself. Right? You can feel and you can think about some of them, but not all of them. So let's see. The price floor, you cannot go below the price floor. Which one? What is the price floor? Cost. If you go below the cost, what happened? Loss. For price ceiling, you cannot go beyond customers' willingness to pay, or we call it value. Customer value. If you go beyond the customer willingness to pay, what happened? No sales. So for external factor, you mentioned competitor or competition. Of course, demand in the market, you mentioned demand. Market. You mentioned profit. So if it is about objective of the company, it affects price. So objective, I think objectives. In terms of objective, it can be more than just profit. Sometimes people talk about the image. So the objective of the company is to build very strong image in the luxury market. So the price should be high or low. You know exactly the price should be high. You see, if you look at the objective of the company, then you can feel the price that you can set. Right? And if some company would like to have the product available everywhere in the world, that kind of objective gives you the sense of setting the price low. Right? So objectives affect price. Then it's marketing mix. The other marketing mix, for example, if you actually sell your product in the market at Chula, and the same product, if you sell it at Siam Paragon, the price can be different. So P-Place tells the price that you can set. Right? In the normal market or at Siam Paragon, this can be different. The same kind of product. Right? So the other piece affects price. And then you can talk about many other things. So they put others here and others here to make the theory concrete and correct. At the end of the day, you can put everything in others anyway. So you see, this is actually the theory of pricing. So many other small things and many other small things out there, many other small things are inside and out there. But the key part, objective and marketing mix, and demand and market and competition will play vital roles in terms of setting up the price, right? And of course, the cost and value as well. So this is actually what we have for the theory, and then that's really what we need to talk about in terms of theory, but I have to actually explain a little bit more. For objective, we talked about it. But you would like to have the image of being very luxury, then the price can be high. And if you would like to be available everywhere, then the price can be low. Just for example, We talked about the place and many other marketing mixes. We understand the notion of competition very well, but the point is, if I talked about demands, how can demand affect price? How can demand affect price? How can market affect price? So let's talk about demand a bit more. Can you remember the demand curve? Downward slope or upward slope? Downward. Which one is the demand curve? Both. They are both downward slopes. Okay? So what does it mean? It means if you sell the product at the price like right here at P1, you can sell the product this many Q1. If you actually lower the price a bit from P1 to P2, then you can sell more, a little bit more, as you can see, from Q1 to Q2. But if it is not slope number 1, it's actually slope number 2, you sell the price at P1 dash, then you can sell at Q1 dash. If you lower the price a little bit from P1 to P2 dash, what happened over here? You can actually sell a lot more. So the demand curve affects price. Which one that you should set the price quite low? 1 or 2? 2. Because you lower the price a little bit, you can sell a lot more. So please lower the price. Right? So demand curve number 2 tells you exactly that you can lower the price. How can we get the demand curve in the real world? Historical data. You can actually get the demand curve from historical data. Which one is elastic and which one is inelastic? The first one is inelastic and the second one is elastic. So elasticity of the demand curve affects pricing. Then it's market. It's not just demand, it's market as well. There are 4 types of markets, right? From your economics class. What are they? Monopoly. What's that? Oligopoly. Monopolistic competition. And PO competition. Four markets here. From pure competition down here, what kind of pricing that we should set? The point is from the theory itself, if it is a pure competition, we cannot set the price. The market will set the price by themselves from the equilibrium of demand and supply. Luckily, no pure competition in the world. That's in the theory. In your finance and economic class, what kind of business in the world can be thought as pure competition? Yeah, agricultural products sometimes, right? Stock markets. So you need a lot of buyers, you need a lot of sellers, and you need free flow of information. Three important factors for pure competition. A lot of buyers, a lot of sellers, and free flow of information. And I think sometimes I walk around and I found out at MBK Center on the 4th floor, it looks just like kind of pure competition, the mobile phone zone. Many buyers, many sellers, and people actually try to look up online for the price of everything, right, all the time. So, but it's not perfect, pure competition. You cannot see the perfect pure competition anyway. You cannot find it, right? So that's the thing. But for monopolistic competition, it's normal market. So many buyers, right? You can see buyers everywhere. So in the normal market, so for this one, marketer can do a lot of pricing strategies. And we're going to talk about pricing strategies later on. And there are many types of pricing strategy anyway. For oligopoly, so few competitors in the market, Pepsi and Coke, AIS, True, and ETEC, right? So the price will be more about the competitors. So competition matters. If a can of Coke, right? If Coke reduce the price of the Coke can for 2 baht, then Pepsi will reduce the price of Pepsi can for 2 baht, right? So competition matters. And for monopoly, 2 types. If it is the monopoly by law, in general, electricity, water, the price should be low. Sometimes it's not actually a monopoly by laws, but it's something else. Copyright matter, right? Or innovation matters. Then the price can be very high. So 2 types of setting up the price for monopoly market, very low or very high, right? So you can see right now that market and demand are the factors for pricing in terms of theory. So if you look at the slides again, you see exactly what it is. We cannot go beyond price ceiling, and that's customer perceptions of value, so willingness to pay. We cannot go below product cost, the cost. If you go below the cost, no profit. Internal factors, objective, marketing mix, and others. External factors, demand and market, competition, others, right? So just like to make it clear that there's nothing that much here, but you understand exactly the factors affecting price. These are the strategies. And we can keep talking about the strategy throughout the night. There are many strategies anyway. Right? So, have you heard of anything at all? Any strategies at all? Which one? And what is it? Can you help me?
product bundle.
What does EDLP stands for? Everyday low price. Everyday low price. Good value pricing. Look at the value, the willingness to pay of the customer and set up the price. That's good value pricing. If you hear of the term good value pricing, it's not actually low price. Good value pricing means look at the value of customer and then you set up the price according to the value, the customer perception of value. That's good value pricing. EDLP is easy, low price. Okay. For Tesco Lotus, for Big C, EDLP, everyday low price. But at top supermarket, then it's high-low pricing. Something high, something low. They call high-low pricing. It's not the name of a game that we love very much. High-low pricing.
I'm sorry.
Two parts pricing. Sometimes people divide their product into two parts. One part is cheap, and the other part is expensive. And they encourage you to buy the cheap part first, right? And then later on, you need to actually buy the second part to fill in. So what are the examples of this kind of thing?
Razor blade,
and blade, right?
Yeah.
So the razor itself can be cheap, and then once you would like to change the blade can be expensive.
Now I can't afford the blade.
I know.
Yeah.
I can tell. What else besides eraser? Printer. You see, printer. So in terms printer, the printer itself can be cheap, but the ink, the cartridge, can be expensive. What else? In the past, it comes with ink, right? These days, it comes with ink anyway. But after 10 pages, then you need to change the ink. Strategy. What else? Yeah, the game console. Right? The game itself is expensive. Right? The machine, the console can be cheaper. What else? In terms of service business, you see and you understand exactly what happened once you are on board Thai Airways or Thai Air Asia, and then you are hungry or thirsty. That's two-part pricing as well. Sometimes we call two-part pricing captive product pricing. Captive product pricing. So you got captured by one product, then you need to pay for the other part of the product. Captive product pricing. Promotional pricing, so it's promotion, right? Giving out discounts. This is important. What's the difference between promotion and pricing? Sales promotion and pricing. Sales promotion can be about giving out discounts as well, right? So what's the difference between promotion and pricing? Promotion is for the short run, pricing is for the long run. If you give out discounts all the time just like this throughout many years, then it's promotional pricing. If it is just a short period of time to encourage people to buy more in the short period of time, then it's what we call promotion or sales promotion. Right? So it's the matters of time and period. The objectives are different though. The objectives are different. The objectives of promotional pricing, once it's pricing, it's more about relationship. But once it is promotion, it's more about encouraging people to buy right now. Product bundle pricing. You bundle 2 or 3 products together, make the price cheaper, and then sell it. For example, McDonald's. Set 1, set 2, KFC, set 1, set 2. You put some products together, then make it cheaper a little bit, and then it's set menu. Product bundle pricing. How about optional product pricing? You have some options to choose. The price can be varied according to the options you have chosen. Think about Subway, and then you can see right away that's optional product pricing. So 6-inch or foot long, let's go for 6-inch first. Kind of meat that you like, premium beef, okay? Or chicken teriyaki can be different in terms of pricing, right? What kind of cheese? So premium Swiss cheese, then it's pricier, right? So that's optional product pricing. Optional product pricing. Geographical pricing, setting up the price according to the geographical matters, right? City center, suburb, upcountry, that's geographical pricing. Value-added pricing, you put something into the core product and mark up the price of it. So value-added pricing. By-product pricing. By-product pricing. So during the production process, you might see some kind of byproducts, right, produced. Then you sell out the products from the production process, the byproducts parts, and then you can reduce the price of the main products later. So that's what we call byproduct pricing. Think about oil. You would like to have the pure oil at the end, but during the process, you see many things, right? And you can sell those byproducts, then you can reduce the price of the core product. That's what we call by-product pricing. And psychological pricing. Setting up the price using the knowledge of psychology. Number 9, number 8 are examples of psychological pricing. And there are many types of psychological pricing anyway. You see, there are many strategies for pricing. And these are just examples of pricing methods. So there are tons of pricing strategy, and we can keep talking about this pricing strategy throughout the night. There are so many, actually, just to let you know. But at the end of the day, it will fall under the theory anyway. But there are many strategies to use, right?
Can you give an example of value-added pricing?
And car, right? So, and you see, once we talk about car, so in the same type, you can go for some better value, yeah. So the top model, right? The same type anyway, but you got the top model under the same series, I have to say. Right. So and for the top model of each series, you might have some value-added parts. Then that's what we call value-added pricing. So you add some value into it. At AirAsia, the case, right? We got Flexi. Yeah. So it's the same seat anyway. You got the option to change the time for 2 times, right? So Flexi, so it's from flexible. So that's some new value attached to that seat. So that's value-added pricing. If you look at it, sometimes you see, this is actually optional product pricing. So it's the option of changing the seats right? It's fine. One price can be looked at in different ways. It's fine. What else? So, in terms of B2B business, we talk about cash discounts pricing. Cash discount pricing. And if you happen to be in the class of accounting, you see cash discount all the time. Something like this. Cash discount pricing. Right? So what does it mean? If you pay within 10 days, 2% off, and if you cannot pay within 10 days, you pay net price, but you need to pay within 30 days. Right? So 2% within 10 days and net price within 30 days. So, and it's a condition that will carry on and on and on before making change, right? So that's pricing, not promotion, because it's a long-term matter, not a short-term matter. That's pricing. What else that I can think of? Segmented pricing. Segmented pricing means yes, please.
It's not a pricing strategy or anything, but back home in Denmark, I'm doing a lot of research in labor marketing, and we were doing research in how people perceive different numbers. And when it ended in '99, the EEG was associated with positive emotions.
Right.
When the number ended in '99, so 6.99. But if you did the same thing with a luxury brand, if you put the 99 up, perceived as negative.
Right. So the night ending matters. So you said if it is normal products, then number 9 or 99 at the end makes people feel better, right? If it is 0.99 or number 99 at the end for luxury product, people feel bad about it, right? So there is a classic paper on night ending pricing. Is night ending pricing good? Is that good?
Depends what you're
And
selling, yeah.
It depends, yeah. Just like what happened with you, your study. So what happened with that paper? So they got number 9, right? At the end of pricing, of course, and it works. It works. But after 30% of the total product, so if you have a store and you put number 9 everywhere, it's worse in terms of the performance. And they found the rule of thumb, about 30%, the proportion that happened to be the good rule of thumb of having number 9 at the end of the price should be about 30% of the total products in one store. How come? And they actually studied a little bit more and they found out that putting number 9 at the end looks like having the small banner with the term sale. So it tells you exactly what happened with your research as well. So if you put the small banner saying it's on sale, right, with normal products, people feel good about it. If it is very luxury products, some kind of luxury brands, you put the on sales there, then people might feel it's not very good. Louis Vuitton, no sales throughout 150 years, right? Chanel and many other brands. So that's happening. So if you look at number 9 ending pricing, think about on sale. The same thing they said. So we have segmented pricing as well. If you hear of the term segmented pricing, it means that the marketer try to segment market into different groups and then price the same product in different ways. How can they segment the market? They can segment the market using location, so location segmented pricing. Sitting in front, sitting at the back, cost you different in a cinema. Right? Locational pricing or location segmented pricing. They can use the day of the week to segment the market for cinema as well. In Thailand, on Wednesday is the cheapest one. How come? In general, new movies we launch on Thursday. So Wednesday should be the day with the cheapest seats, right? And sometimes they use age to segment the market. So if you happen to be a senior citizen, then you pay less. Right? That's what we call segmented market. Sometimes it's occupation. If you are students, you pay less. Segmented pricing, and you can use many factors to segment the market anyway, right? So that's what we call segmented pricing. But what we need to talk about next is the new way of thinking in terms of pricing system, and that's what we call dynamic pricing. So these are the traditional pricing methods, but for the future, we talk about dynamic pricing. What does it mean by dynamic pricing? The price can go up and go down, go up and go down, go up and down all the time. Right? It happens with the airline business and hotel business. That's what we call dynamic pricing. It's right here. So we try to allocate our fixed capacity to different customer classes with different rates in order to maximize our profits and revenue. The main part of coming up with this kind of thing is to maximize revenue. We got fixed capacity. The one who like to pay more should get the product. That's the reason behind it. On one airplane, 200 seats, the one who pay more should get the seat, not the one who pay first. It's not paying first, but paying more. That's the way to get maximization of our revenue. How can we maximize revenue? Do not sell the product to the one who pay first. We need to sell our product to the one who pay more. If this guy would like to pay first with a very low price, if we can predict that someone who pay more will pay later, we should not sell this product to this guy. And forecasting method comes into play, and it helps. And that's the reason why you have to see different prices for one product, just like airplane. From one place to the other place, the same destination, the same type of seats, the same type of cabin, the same time, then you can see different prices, right? In a hotel, the same type of room, on the same floor, the same view, the same size, everything happens to be the same, but people can pay for the room in different prices. So that's what happened these days, and that's what we call dynamic pricing. And it's not just for the service business. Right now, in China, they try to use this kind of technique for household products in many supermarkets. Jack Ma loves it a lot. Herma supermarket of Jack Ma, he loves to use this kind of technique. Look at what we have left inside our warehouse, then we can set the price. Just kind of the same thing. So we look at the capacity first, and let's see how it goes. So the price at the point of sale, the price tag should be digital. It can be changed. Right? So This is the reason why we need to talk about DP, dynamic pricing. Just to let you know that in some industry, they try to talk about dynamic pricing in different ways, in different viewpoints. In the airline business, they call dynamic pricing yield management. How can we manage our profit? So yield management. Right? In the hotel business, they call this kind of technique revenue management. How can we manage our revenue? So it's RM. Sometimes it is called YM, sometimes it is called RM. And in the marketing world, we call it dynamic pricing. If you call it yield management or revenue management, it's very inside out way of thinking. We would like to manage our revenue, we would like to manage our profits. So yield management and revenue management is very inside out way of thinking. But for the marketing part, we try to think outside it. Customer won't look at our revenue or yield. They look at the price. And you see the price is up and down, go up and down, go up and down. That's what we call dynamic pricing. Right? So that's DP over here. What does it mean? To visualize it in terms of dynamic pricing is like this. This is actually parking lots. And the building, for example, our building is here, and the parking lot happen to be right here. Right? The building is here. And the entrance should be right here. And then you drive, and you see the available space over here. It should be parked over here. Should we? We would like to bet it's far from the building. There might be some slots over there, right? Then you drive past by the available space over here. Then, but if it is actually our school, please do park. But move on. Example, this is the other one. So let's move on a little bit more. I might think that it might be some available spots over here as well, but you might not see it, so that's fine. So drive pass by. So this one pass by. So go for it. Then you see the available spots over here already. Then you drive very fast. And someone took the two spots. Right? And then you have to come back all the way. So which one is the best? Actually, this one actually is the best already. You should park over here at first, right? Then how can we get to know that we should park right here? No one knows. But computer system will tell. If we put the historical data in there and ask them to calculate and specify which one is the best for me, then you can park at the right place. The same thing applies with the pricing system. So you cannot think about the price by yourself. It should be the computer system thinking for you, right? Thinks for you which price that you should go for. So then you can set up the price using the computer system, and that's what we have for dynamic pricing these days. YM, yield management, revenue management, or dynamic pricing. Right? So we have talked about the theory already. We talked about strategies, many strategies already, right? And we touched the notion of dynamic pricing, but we're going to talk about dynamic pricing a bit more after the break. Right? And I would like to stop right here first, but I would like to take your questions, comments, or feedback. Right? Any questions? Any questions so far? Anything to share at all? Anything else to discuss? or any pricing schemes that you actually would like to understand or know more? Have you seen any interesting pricing scheme around? Have you heard of the CAP in Bangkok that they just launched the new way of the new system of pricing? So it's not actually metered, right? You pay a lump sum of 12,000 baht for a month, and you can use the caps throughout the month, just like a buffet. That's the new pricing scheme of Thai caps. 12,000 baht. Is that possible?
Quite pricey.
Let's see how it goes. We don't really know. It's an innovation, right? If you say no to innovation, no innovation. Let's see how it goes, please. Unlimited, they said.
You can work or you can care for the whole day.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's what they mentioned, but I think they will change the rules later on. They change the rules later on. Yeah, you're right. If you actually go around, but you have to work anyway.
Yeah, right. And you also just for hours out of life, but then the camera has to come back somehow.
Right. So the area matters, the time matters. So there should be many rules. But I think it is possible because people actually hire a driver with the salary of 50,000 a month anyway. So it's kind of possible for customer value. Right.
Last time you mentioned the lost pricing.
Sorry, loss leader pricing.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, sometimes if we talked about the strategy, sometimes we can actually go beyond the theory because it's a strategy. Strategy is something that so the theory is right there. Strategy is the real thing, right? And from the theory itself, it said you cannot go below the price floor. But in the real world, many times people go below the price floor, and that's what we call loss leader pricing. You get lost, right? Then no profits, but you can lead.
I think it's similar to Mark and Spencer.
Yeah, the market is
It's like,
market Spencer.
the beginning of the semester, they will sell like student uniform in a very cheap,
Right.
cheap price, but the uniform will be like the top
Top floor.
of the department.
Right. That's loss leader pricing. Loss in order to lead people into the store. Loss leader pricing. Right. So just like what happened with Mark and Spencer, it happened with Watson in Thailand a lot. They put something cheap in front of the store in order to draw people to go into the store, and then in the store then people buy something else and it helps. And macro lost leader pricing all the time, right? They sell something cheap and actually promote it, and it's very cheap here. People go there and then can't help. People walk around and buy something else as well. Right, so that's lost leader pricing. So it's strategy. You see, it's not actually theory, it's strategy. Right? Thank you very much. Sometimes we can actually go beyond the theory itself.
What about when store limit the unit of like each person
Right.
can buy?
So they limit the loss. Right? It's loss leader indeed. So they have the regulation right there that you cannot go for more than 6 pieces. Right? Because they can afford that loss, but not more than that. Right? In order to lead you to the store. So they put some regulations there. So lots of fun in terms of strategy in the real market, as you can see. Yeah. And what else? I mentioned last time, I think that sometimes we ask people to pay as you wish, or pay what you want. Pay what you want or pay as you wish. And sometimes it is possible to ask people to pay as you wish. Okay. museum, temple, religion-related matters. Okay, pay what you want or pay as you wish, and they've done good job in terms of business. You see, good profit. How can we come up with a scheme of pay what you want? It is found that it should be very, very emotional. Art museum, then people think it's very, very good and they pay. And this is actually against the laws of economics because the classical economics thinks that people are economics men, right? It's all about rationality. This is very irrational. If they ask you to pay what you want, you should pay nothing. That's very, very irrational, but that's wrong. You pay for something which is irrational all the time. Right? Going to temple, pay. Right? You can actually walk out without anything wrong, any mistakes, but you feel you need to pay. But you don't really know how come, but you need to pay. Right? That's wrong in terms of economics field. You should maximize the value of yourself, you maximize the utility of yourself. So that's the real world, and the theory and the real world can be different from the theory you see. That's pay what you want. What else that you can see in the market in terms of pricing? Have you mentioned name your own price? You can go for name your own price. You can try it, priceline.com. Priceline.com. And then you choose name your own price. Then you can actually name your own price. So put the price that you like to pay right there, right? And then choose the level of hotel that you like to go for and the area. You can actually choose area, level, 3-star, 4-star, whatever. Then the price that you like to pay, then you click OK. They ask you to put in your credit card number and everything. It means if they can find it at the price that you talked about, then you need to pay for it right away. But you cannot specify the brand. You only can specify the level of hotel, the area, and the money that you like to pay. Right? That's what we call name your own price. You got, I think, 3 chances per day. So if not, people will go for like 10 baht all the time. Right? You should make it possible as well. Right? I played with the system before, many years ago. Right? I liked it, and I got a W at Times Square. The normal price should be about $700 back then. I got it at the price of 140. So 700 and 140 is totally different. I just would like to be there at Times Square. So any hotels, and I found out at the end it's W. How nice. The next day. But the trick is you need to go for the next day. How come? So there should be some rooms left. For many hotels, they cannot announce that this is the discount from 700 to 140, you see. It hurts the brand. So instead of shout it out, that it's the discount, the very deep discount, it hurts the brand. They put the available rooms right here. Okay? So the trick is try to go for the next day. You get the chance of having a very, very low price, good hotel room. So we talked about the pricing theory and pricing strategy, and we're going to talk about dynamic pricing in details later on after the break. So let's take a break.